So, what up, though, Doc?
Man, you know me, man. I'm cool. And what's good, brother?
I love the I love the consistency, dog.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I can just about guess every time I hit you. What up, Doc? You know me, man. I'm cool.
You
Just
know me. I don't know. When did I say? I honestly have no idea when I started saying that. I'll be honest, but like it's just become a part of me. I used to say like, man, I'm chilling. But when I was at LSU, there's this dude. He was like the coolest guy ever. Just always just I'm coolin'. Like, and I think his name was like KT. So he was just a cool dude, man. Like, never really got too excited about anything. Was a pleasure to be around. Never had any problems, but I always loved how cool he was, and he's just, man, I'm coolin'. And I was like, man, I'm gonna incorporate this. I like that because I don't want to just chill. I want to cool. Like something about saying I'm cooling just sounds so much doper than I'm chilling. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
man, I like that.
You
Cooler.
sure? You sure he wasn't? I don't know the man, but you sure he wasn't always nice or high?
Oh
Sometimes.
yeah, so he was high. He was definitely high all the time. But it didn't take away from the fact that like he still had this
Facts.
coolness factor about him. So
Facts.
it's like I dig it, man. Like yeah. So
No
yeah,
doubt. When you say
I'm
when you say
cool.
you say I'm cooling and just be always laid back, it's like yeah, it's like he was in he always had edibles on him or he had
Yeah.
one of these
Yeah, he definitely enjoyed the devil's lettuce.
devil's lettuce. What? I haven't heard that so long on the devil's lettuce.
Yeah, man, that was his thing. That wasn't me, but man. So now,
Hey.
now I've adopted his just that one portion, the cooling portion. I had to switch it
Yeah,
up
no doubt.
for him.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, to each their own, man. But it sound like he was consistent in his
Mm,
coolness with you, and you was like, I need to adopt that that
bro,
side of it, which I think is awesome.
definitely.
I
Yeah.
think it's awesome. So when me bring up the term consistency, that goes along with our title today, and I want to explore from your perspective, Doc, as well as from mine, the idea of being what I like to call silent, stoic, consistent in my efforts to obtain a level of success in whatever area I'm trying to, you know, progress in, right?
Mm,
Um, I've always prided myself on a certain level of silent, quiet, just going to get it and just doing it. And whether it manifests itself where everybody sees the manifestation of the outcome or
mm,
not, it's still sticking with the process that I said that I was going to stay with, you know what I'm saying, no matter what, no matter how it may seem. And I want to ask you before I go any deeper into that thought process, how do you approach your endeavors that you are consistent with? What is it that keeps you, you know, plugging, trucking along on the course of whatever it is you're trying to go after, whether it was your doctorate, because that's the thing we call you doc, because you are,
mm.
but or with your kids now, because they're still little, you got a long way to go, or being a husband. What's the thing that keeps you consistent with the little things you know you need to do?
Okay. Well, man, that's a good question. For me, I think I touched on this before. It's knowing that I just gotta get the stuff done, man. It's just things that I have to do. There are things that I feel like I have to do as a father. There are things I feel like I have to do as a husband. There are things I feel like I have to do whether I am someone's employee or if it's like, or as an entrepreneur. Like there are things that like I just, in my head, I see it as okay, it's got to get done, and if I don't do it, who will?
Okay.
So I like to get. I just that's how I stay consistent. It's got to get done, man. And if we don't do it, then I know that I can't continue this portion and this portion and this portion. It's like then nothing gets done,
Okay.
right? And so in my head, that's how I always see it. I constantly see it as like let's just go ahead and get this done, man. Let's knock this out and let's keep it moving. Man, let's if I'm home for a while, especially right now, I'm home, it's me and the kids, then I'm like, okay, so if I don't do at least like put some dishes in the dishwasher right now, then these are gonna stack up, and it's gonna stack up, and then your kids are gonna see a mess constantly in the kitchen, right?
Mhm.
Or we just finish eating breakfast or lunch. Why don't I take some time, put these things away because it just needs to get done. So they see, okay, well, every day after lunch, Poppy is putting dishes away, taking them off the table, putting them away in the dishwasher so that they can get clean. It's things like that. Like that's how I that's how I just go about it. And it's not like anything needs to be like I don't need a celebration. I don't need to be paraded or make it a statement like, "Hey, by the way, I'm gonna go do this right now," because just is what it is. Lil Wayne said, "Real G's move in silence like lasagna," right? So it's just, I'm just, which one of the best lines ever. Uh,
One of
but
many, one of many, a multitude of
yeah,
best lines that he's had.
yeah. But yeah, it's just stuff. We just gotta. Ain't no reason to complain about it. Don't have to bring all the attention to it. It's just gotta get done.
I hear
That's
you.
me.
Um, it's interesting though because a lot of people struggle in this day and age with being consistent
Mm,
with even the the things that have to get done because everybody wants to indict and fault social media, right? Because most of us at some point in time go down this rabbit hole of a few minutes that sometimes goes into a few hours of searching and looking at things that have nothing to do with us taking care of the tasks that need to get taken care of, right?
mm,
And so we get knocked off of the consistency of doing the necessities. And I guess, what people are trying to figure out now, and I'm going to have a discussion both ways about this, but and you can correct me right if I'm wrong too, but I feel like people right now are not being consistent enough in the small, fine details, as we talked about last time, the mundane task, right?
mm,
If you didn't listen to that episode, go back and listen to the last episode. We talked about being, diligent in doing the non-sexy work. But the problem is that people are not only being diligent in that, but then they're not being consistent enough in doing the mundane tasks, right? Because
mm,
the consistency gets broken up and gets chopped up into our attention span is like a 2-year-old, you know what I'm saying?
mm.
It knocks off in 2 seconds, right? And then we like, oh shoot, what was I doing? Right. And then we get frustrated because we feel like, well, now it's a couple hours have gone by or a couple weeks have gone by, the accumulated factor, I've lost my energy. Plus, I can't be like the people that I'm seeing, right? And the funny thing is, we're looking at people on social media, and they're not even in the thing that we're trying to be successful in, right? But we see
Right.
them living this glamorous style of whatever they're doing, and then we get lost in that and wishing to be a part of that and lose track of staying, 10 toes down on the things that are going to allow us to be successful in our thing, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So I guess you have, let me bring it back to what you just said. You have the integrity that we talked about, the internal fortitude to understand it just has to get done. But how about the shit though? Let's keep it a buck. The shit that you struggle with, that you find hard to be consistent with.
Mm.
Where do you? And I'm not saying you got to be bring it up and be specific on it. And you can turn around and ask me if you want to. I'll share. But I'm asking you because I'm bringing up the question. The shit you struggle with, you feel like you're not consistent with. Where do you find the pivot point to try to get back on track with that shit for you? Whatever your not the stuff that you're doing well, the shit that you be like, okay,
Mm.
I haven't been that consistent in this shit.
For things that I feel like, man, I'm just like, man, I could be better. I could be better at this. It's a matter of it. Still, no one can do this but me, right? No one can do, my things that I need to get done. That's how I feel. It's on me to get it done. But when I know that I haven't been consistent, It normally takes me just a couple minutes when I finally do sit down to think about it. But like sitting in silence for a second and just honestly like looking through stuff, and I'm like, man, okay, something's not right, and I'll sit there and I'll pick through like, no, I did this. No, I did this. Okay, I'm not really doing this as well as I should be. I could do it a little bit better, probably. And then I start to think about the portions that that like really that I'm missing and I'm messing up on. And it's like, okay, we can just keep doing it this way. And we'll get our basic results and things like that. But when you really want to see a change or you really want to see a difference, then maybe we should tweak one or two things, especially that portion that like, man, it's just not the best. I go to the gym 5 days a week, right, and I eat healthy. It's not I'm not eating like a full bag of chips and fries and donuts or anything like that. Like we eat healthily and appropriately. But then sometimes it's like, okay, I could be done. I'm satiated. But then you get that feeling, and it's like, well, I'll take a few, extra scoops of pasta, right? Or a few extra here. And then I'm sitting there later and afterwards, like 30 minutes after, so I'm like, oh, man, something's sitting a little heavy on my stomach. Why did I feel something a little heavy? And it's like, oh, you know what? You really didn't need that extra scoop of whatever. Like you already knew you were satiated. You could have stopped there, so it's portions like that where or if my eating isn't as consistent as it should be, then I sit and think like, okay, you can just keep on getting that one extra scoop, or you know when you say in the beginning that it's done, then just be done.
Be done.
We don't have to continue to hurt yourself because, oh, there's a little corner left and I don't want to waste it. I mean, I'll be real, I did pay for it, and otherwise it's gonna go straight in the trash or something like that. And it hurts. It hurts to waste money. Different topic, different topic. But when if you're ever a parent or and you see your kids take like I'm done, and then you're like, you asked for what, and then you just I'm not throwing. You gonna eat it tomorrow. You're gonna eat it tomorrow. I'm gonna warm it up. I don't care what it tastes like. Somebody's gonna eat it tomorrow. So, but it's that little portion of having that discipline to be like, all right, I don't need to be that person to eat it tomorrow though. Like someone else. So yeah, I would say it's just a moment of that sitting down with yourself and being real moment that like, all right, all right, yeah, we know what's not right. And we know we need to fix something. So let's go ahead and fix it. What about you, man? What do you got?
What about me? What from what dynamic?
What do you, is there something that you struggle with personally that,
Oh,
as far as
definitely.
consistency is concerned?
Definitely. I mean, we're all human. I thank you for sharing. Before we go into mine, thank you for sharing. Your approach to the things that you want to improve upon. For me, it's like yours. It's everything. It's the making sure I'm eating healthy, making sure I'm working out. But then because we talk about business on this platform, and I run a company, um, you know, looking for different markets to try to explore, working through the fears of I don't know the language, working through the fears of I don't know necessarily how to communicate or reach out to certain groups, government groups, or whoever it may be. I still have to do the work of figuring that out, right?
Mm,
So I can't um, shy away from my morning routine or Monday routine or Tuesday routine of, well, just because I talked to Gemini and we worked on 5 different pitch emails, you know what I'm saying, and I read through them, but I'm a little nervous to actually hit send, you know what I'm saying, to some of these emails that we've got garnered and gathered. I don't know the people, so it's a cold reach out. You get a little cold, cold footing, if you will, or cold
mm,
energy, because it's like I don't know them. Are they going to receive it well? Am I flooding them too much with too much information, right? So I may not take action. And what I have to continue to tell myself is the way I've gotten here over 20 years of being an entrepreneur, it's staying consistent with working through that fear by being stoic and not worrying about the emotion of it so much, but focusing on the process of doing the thing and allowing it to unfold itself accordingly. And a lot of times that doesn't mean that it's going to be fruitful in what I see it to be fruitful, but it's
Mm.
going to still give me the results necessary that I can tweak. Just like I'm sure you understand what I'm saying because you do it in science all the time, right?
Yeah.
Um, so for me, what I've been fighting recently is more so that. So how I've gotten that I've been sending out emails. I've been sending out, like I said, me and Jim and I have put together, different campaigns, different verbiage, to try to hit different companies, trying to hit some government companies, even though we're not don't have the government clearance, but I'm just trying to see because different things are changing back in states.
Yeah.
So again, my job is to pursue that, reaching out to some of my mentors, asking them for advice. You know what I'm saying? And that's hard too because you have this company and you're the CEO, right? And it's like you reach out to ask questions. It's like it's the double-edged sword. You feel like, okay, I'm supposed to be by outside looking in, the guy who knows what's going on, but I
Yeah.
also don't know what's going on, so I need help. And so I have to ask. So I don't want to seem like I you know what I'm saying, like I don't know what I'm doing, but I also need to show that I need help a little bit, a little leverage. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, I can
Yeah.
continue seeming like and actually delivering on the back end with profit, margins. You know what I'm saying? To deliver and having clients, right? If that's making sense.
No,
So
yeah.
it's that consistency. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
No, it's I think it's really important to recognize like, okay, um, in this instance, I don't know everything.
Yes.
And I think the best thing to do instead of just making something up is to ask somebody who knows, right? Like what's the it's really it makes zero sense to be like, I don't know. Just do this. No, 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 no. Like if you know someone who knows better, then just ask them.
I
It's
mean,
not
because we wait, like you said, we waste so much time, right? Man suffers so much in his mind, he does in reality. We waste so much time in the thought of the what if, what if they say this, what if this perceived this way. Those things are all could be true, but you
Mhm.
you you come out again on the back end, whether they do perceive it a certain way and they give you something that again doesn't at the moment seem like it's beneficial, there's always a seed of benefit and growth within it. It's, oh,
Yeah.
well, maybe I didn't ask the right question. Maybe I didn't phrase it right. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they're right. I need to do this. And the reality, they hit me with the truth bomb. I don't have enough of this in place, right? So therefore I have
Right.
to go back to drawing board and put this in place. Or it may be a situation like, yeah, we got you. Here you go. This is what you need. Bow. And you're good, right? So but again, if you're willing to put the ego, if you're willing to stay consistent on putting that one foot forward in front of the other, right? Then you get a chance to learn on the journey the way you're supposed to and allow the process to unfold itself the way you're supposed to and stop blocking your own blessing, right?
Mm.
Because when we don't ask, we're blocking our own blessing, right? Because that's,
Yeah.
when you said a couple episodes ago, when you talked about, your departure meeting and you had the wherewithal to ask about the laptop,
Yeah.
right? You said closed mouths don't get fed.
Plain
And
as
we all hear that, we know that conceptually, right? But
mhm.
we don't apply it in reality enough, especially at the right times. And the right time is relative, but you did at the right time because you were on the exit meeting and you like, hey, let me not just be on some, oh yeah, forget y'all, da 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 da. It wasn't like that, right? It was like,
Yeah, the what was that, the Holiday Inn crash out, the lady
yeah, yeah, trying to
tried
go
to
to the
breakfast? Dag, man.
right.
I think
So
about that
you
video often.
you elevated above that to extract from that moment something that was going to give you more for the future, not only for the present but for the future, right?
Right.
And so the consistency of you working on yourself on, and being willing to incorporate the little things like your boy, I'm cooling, man, but that
Mm.
consistency over time
Yeah.
to incorporate the good things and then apply them consistently. I think that's what allowed you to be ready for that moment, right? And going back to, it may seem benign, you took from that guy from from LSU, that phrase. But what I love is Dr. Naeem Akbar was a motivational speaker back in the mid 90s, right? And my parents took
Mm.
me to go see him. He was one of the very first ones I went to go see, thanks to them. But he had this phrase, eat the fish, spit out the bones. So, you take the meat of something and the things you don't need, you discard, right? And what I
Right.
love what you said about that gentleman was just his energy of, yo, I'm cool. I'm good. Like that level, you took the meat of that. The
Mhm.
bones as far as, getting high all
Yeah,
the time, all that
the
stuff, right?
extracurriculars.
Right. The
Yeah,
devil's
yeah.
lettuce, as you called it.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't need that.
Right. So, but I think, but again, because I think you practice consistent deliverables of working the small steps, you know what I'm saying? And then trying to figure out the variables within those small steps because you're a
Mhm.
scientist. You get a chance to learn how to extract the substance, but keep what you need. And then you keep, habit stacking on what's necessary instead of trying to habit stack on the things that are not, right? I
Right.
think so often right now, and that's the fear, that's what I was trying to say earlier about the social media dynamic. Right now, even adults are, even those of us who are quote unquote aware, we're habit stacking the wrong things. We're being consistent within the wrong energy deliverable, if that makes sense, right? Because
Mhm.
we're giving ourselves well, I deserve this break, but this break is not the consistent, small, mundane things that are going to allow us to achieve the outcome in whatever endeavors we want betterment in, if that makes sense, right? So if I can backtrack a little bit real quick, and I'm gonna give you the platform in 2 seconds, 'cause I want to ask you something about this. One thing that I do too, you asked like, what do I do? I said, staying consistent in my fears of trying to grow my business is I just stay, sending out messages because I know if I continue sending out the messages, at some point I'm gonna get the responses that will help me continue to grow, right, as a company,
Right.
right? If I stop it, it won't grow. One thing I do too in my personal life is I change my workout dynamics to one thing I've gotten into since I've been here in Thailand, and I did a little bit of it while I was in Spain before I left Marbella. I call it I create hell out of paradise. So what I do is my workout regimen, if because I lift all the time like you, I'm 6 days a week in the gym.
Yeah.
But after a certain point, it becomes like clockwork just to lift weights, you know what I'm saying? Leg day, whatever split, you know what I'm saying? Chest, back, all that. So I had to incorporate running, right? So I
Mhm.
incorporated running into my paradigm, my workout paradigm, and I can't stand running, with a passion. I'm 43.
Mhm. I'm
my,
with you. Oh, man.
you
I
just hit 40.
Bro, yeah, look, I know I just hit 40, but I tried to play every sport I could that didn't make me run like nonstop, man. You ain't gonna ever see me on like a soccer pitch or nothing like that, man. Them boys run for 90 minutes.
Right.
You lost your freaking mind, man.
Son,
Sorry,
but,
not to cut you
but
off, but you
no,
incorporated
you fine, you fine. No, I love it. I'm right
Yeah.
there with you, Doc. Look, but what I've learned in my journey so far, right? And it could be right, could be wrong. I don't know, but I'm learning what we tend to try to avoid, we end up bringing about, right? So it's kind of
Mm,
like, so my thing is knowing that I have to have a strong, vascular system, knowing I have to have a clear mind, knowing I have to have a strong heart, all that stuff. The running dynamic pushes me differently. And what I found is I've increased it from, just a 2 mile run to a 3 mile to four to now I'm at 5 miles, right? So
right,
top right about 8.9 kilometers, right? Or whatever it is, right? Kilometers. And again, I'm not a marathon runner by no means, but I'm pushing myself, right?
right.
On that journey, though, what I find is the same breakdown is analogous to my approach to my business or my approach to my spiritual growth. You hit those barriers or those markers within your run where it's like, I don't know, my left knee hurting, what I'm saying,
Mhm.
lower back tight, I got the monkey
Yeah,
on my back, and I just started. Right? I'm only
yeah,
eight
yeah,
minutes
yeah.
in, right? And it's like, okay, do I stop or do I push through, right? And if my goal is, I said before I started, to do 3 miles, for example, and I'm only at a mile and a half, right? Or not even there. I'm at a mile. What I have to focus on is all the external variables that I feel. I have to feel them, but then be stoic enough to stay focused and just take one more step, right?
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
let the
Yeah.
right, don't let the feeling of I'm getting that little stitch underneath my heart for whatever reason right now. You know what I'm saying? That's like a cramp,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
right? I can't let that deter me from continuing to just take that one next step. And yes, it seems rapid pace, but it literally is just that simple. It's like just take the one next step. Now, I can adjust my speed. I can adjust my gait, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm striding too far, so I shorten it. And me shortening it, maybe I'm going too fast in the short, so then I slow it down, right? These are the things, but the consistency of staying with that and allowing that process to feel that all the way through, I now can take that over to the emails. I can take that over to when I talk to my team. Hey, we reached out to 20 companies, this week. We only got a response from two. What was the response like? It wasn't favorable. Okay, don't get discouraged. Stay with it because if we don't stay with it, we're not going to complete the mile. If we don't stay
Right.
with it, we won't get the client, right? So me saying that, do you have processes like that in your personal life that you kind of extrapolate and do to shift over into the business dynamic or the relationship with your wife or kids?
I would say to stick with the cardio theme, it's I utilize pretty much the same concept in my head, right? So yeah, I may not necessarily want to go and jump on a treadmill, for the first 15 before I go lift, but I make sure that I at least, like at the bare minimum, at least, bike for 15 minutes, right? And so the thing is with that is whenever I hop on the machine, whether it's the treadmill or the bike, I have in my head, I need to get 15 minutes out of this, right?
Mhm.
And so it's like, all right, we turn it on. Okay, let's go. It's all right. Let's knock this out because we started. So same way I think of let's go ahead and take care of this, business wise, because I got to get it done. And so I'm on here and it's like, all right, let's just focus in on anything else as far as the like cardio portion is concerned.
Right.
So it's like,
Right.
all right, focus on whatever it is. So there happens to be some people doing construction outside of the gym. So where the bike sits at the window. And so I'm sitting here, I'm watching them build a sidewalk, and like put together this freaking eight floor building that they've just built, and I mean like it's really only like 50 meters away, like spacing is not far. So
I know.
it's
I went to the gym. I know what you're talking about. I
yeah,
saw it.
yeah,
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 I saw
yeah.
the construction. Yeah.
So it's like, man, and I'm sitting there, I'm watching this every day, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden my watch will ping and it lets me know, oh, 7 minutes, 30 seconds in. I'm like, oh, dang, I'm already halfway through. Okay. Well, now let's just, let's just knock out this other half. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then I start to pay more attention to the ride itself because now that's in my head. And I'm like, okay, let's see if I can push to stay above 65 rotations per minute. Yeah, I think that's
Hmm.
what it's. So I'm like, oh, let's see if I can maintain 65, because before, say I was around like 55. And I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, let's see if I can hit 60. Oh, I did. Okay, let's see if I can hit 65, and see like how long I can maintain portions like that. And so that's how I end up like tricking myself into
Hmm.
thinking that it's a game, as far as like cardio is concerned. And so the same thing applies, excuse me, with business, except I don't have to trick myself, but it's like, okay, we have to get this done. So we can't get it done if we never start. So
Right.
let's start right now. Boom,
Right.
start it. Okay, I'm moving, I'm grooving. I'm paying attention to what's needing to be done. Okay, oh yeah, I feel like this is about done, but maybe let's do a quick revamp. Okay, so I'm going back through this like an SOP or something, right? So let's
Yes.
read back through, let's look at it. I think this seems pretty nice. But with this SOP, this relates to also this portion. Let me kind of compare, do like a quick side by side. Oh, okay, nice, nice. All right. Yeah, so let's go ahead. Let's get this thing finished up. Let's get it typed up because I feel like I'm about done. So let's add some finishing portions to it, finishing
Hmm.
pieces. And then once I feel like I've accomplished what I think I've accomplished, Now it's my turn to get like someone else's eyes on it. So let me
Right.
get a quick pair of eyes, someone who's not me. How's it read? How's it look? What do you feel about Oh yeah, I think this is really nice. Wow, holy crap. And this only took you a day? Like, yeah, it took me about a day. Like nothing major, because I was able to stop and focus on what needed to be done, and really like and right, but it just
Yeah.
needed to I needed to start it. And
Yeah.
then once you start, and then you start feeling good about it, and it just rolls right into it, man. So it's
And that's the thing I love because it's so analogous, like you said, to the run. You get out there. Like you said, your particular location, they got the construction. You can kind of get lost and looking out the window at that for a moment. But then once you get to, okay, I passed the initial time. Now I got to lock in because now I feel certain. My body I'm feeling some things. You know what I'm saying? But now
Mhm.
I play, like I said, I play different mind games, right? Game theory yourself, right, to get through it. But then as it's analogous to, and it kind of carries over, how you do one thing is how you do another, right? Like you said, then it comes into the, right now you use the example of the SOP, or if you're doing a deck or whatever it might be, new things within your business, development acumen, right? You still learn how to play mind games to accomplish the thing that needs to get accomplished, but be willing to sit in the fire to get it done. And I think that's beautiful because when I was saying the example, I create hell out of paradise. Like, you're in a gym, nice AC, right? And you're
Yeah, yeah,
focusing,
yeah.
right? You know what I'm saying? Which is fine, but you don't have to go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But you do. And so you're creating a hellacious environment that you have to work yourself through to build yourself, tear yourself down rather, to build yourself back up, right?
Mhm.
And I think if we keep that understanding by doing that consistently, with our workout regimen, our physical body, because this is the only thing that's actually with us through everything. Because you'll lose some money, you'll lose a
Yeah.
business. You know what I'm saying? You might lose a love, right?
Mhm, mhm.
But if you're still present, this is with you. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I always say, working on this dynamic, not only the physical aspect of it, but also the mental, what I'm saying, the emotional, the spiritual. Obviously, we'll get to those in other episodes, but the consistency of doing the work, right, of the physical, it to me is so analogous because you're pushing yourself, especially when you don't feel like it. Like I was trying to say, the hell part of it, especially if you don't feel like it,
Mhm.
right? The days when it's like, this is laborious. I had so much to do. I have so much to do. If you normally go in the morning, right? You just know your
Yeah.
day is stacked, right? You're like, I just want this extra hour of sleep. And me going to the gym could take, if I don't go, I could get that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But you choose to be consistent and delivering yourself. And this is the silent stoic, consistency we're talking about. When you do that, to me, that's creating the hell in paradise. when
Mhm.
you when you willfully create that hell in paradise, then it becomes easier when external forces want to create hell around you to be able to navigate those waters, right? Because you consistently do it on your own and willfully do it on your own. I said
Right.
to you like this one. I said to my daughter's uh ex-boyfriend. We had to have a conversation. you know, I had to,
Yeah,
had to,
yeah,
I
yeah,
had to,
yeah.
what was it when Will Smith and Martin Lawrence did that whole scene? And
What, Reggie?
yeah, with Reggie, I had to kind of pull one of those, right? I told the young man, I was like, I work out like I'm in prison, but I'm a free man, and I'm 40. Like, I'll let you sit on that and think about that for a minute, young man. Like, you
Yeah.
don't want to test me, okay? Like, right?
You
That was just
picked the
me,
wrong one, okay?
right? Now that was just me beating my little masculine, ego chest, right? But it's the same concept though, from the standpoint, if I'm training myself to learn Gemini, to learn these new, dark data, cybersecurity, protocols and placements. So therefore, when I talk to companies, I have an understanding and awareness. Do I have the degrees in this? No, but do I need to have an understanding and awareness of how I'm trying to position my company in order to grow and to expand itself? Yes. Is it new to me? Is it something that I'm unfamiliar with? Yes. But if I can put myself through these moments of training myself, right, and create a schedule, of after I get through exercising, sitting down for an hour and for 90 minutes to go through, new going through what is it that I'm doing now? Even though I can't, I'm going through a Harvard. Damn, I just forgot the name of it because again, this is not my expertise, but black belt. What's
Scrum?
it? Huh? Scrub. Yes, yes. So I'm trying to get an understanding because again, I'm not that guy, right? I'm more of the people person. I'm more of the connector, but I want to have an understanding what Scrum Masters and all this, where they are and what they're talking about and where things are going, and how they're navigating in the IT sector, you know what I'm saying, to
Yeah.
merge everything, right? So I'm sitting down going over that, but I put that schedule together, right? It's not someone that came to me, nobody on my team say you should get this because again, they're looking at me like, well, you cutting checks, you got the names, everything running how it needs to run, right? So I'm creating the hell within paradise. I'm training myself as if I'm locked up and can't go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? But I'm freely doing this. So as I stay consistent with this, as I've done over the years, what it brings about is the things that I want to have and that I actually do have. I'm having these training sessions online, sitting at a beach with a sunset, drinking mango juice in Thailand. You know what I'm saying? Uh, right
Yeah.
now, I'm not saying to show off, but I'm saying that's somebody has a cubicle they have to go to and driving 2.5 hours each day, right? Yeah, to a spot to stay. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to do that.
Hey man, did you just call me out?
No.
Hey man,
Luckily, I
hold
didn't call
on,
you out because
man.
you ain't doing
Hold on, cuz.
that. No, I'm saying I did call you out. I'm saying, but when they say you have to design the life you want, I think people skip past well, I don't even think I know for a fact people skip past the things that need to get done on a consistent. People don't see the past,
Yeah.
like I said, 20 years of me doing this. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say silent. I'm not out here on social media. I'm 43. I don't have a private social media page. You know what I'm saying? And that goes to because women, because I'm single, right? And women like, let me get your IG. I'm like, I ain't got one. They be like, well, who you lying to? Who
Oh,
you
you
trying to
don't
talk
have one? Okay.
to? I'm like, whoa. I just don't show people what I do because that's not how
Yeah.
I grew up. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean I ain't got shit. Like, leave me alone. But that's a whole different conversation for a different day. But I'm saying,
Who
but
you
it's
lying
silent,
to?
huh?
No, the thing is a lie. Like, how you don't have IG? How do you not have IG? Okay, now I need to. It's like, calm it down. Some
Right.
people
It's
just don't.
like some people just don't have it. Like, what are you talking about? Like, but anyway, that's a whole different conversation. But my point is still though, silent stoic consistency. I've been silently doing what I have to do to, have a life that I wanted. Not what anybody else wanted, but even me having this life that I want, I still have to do the things to sustain this. And that's
Mhm.
the other part of why it's so important in my opinion, and I want your thoughts on it, to stay stoic in your consistency because once you do quote unquote obtain the thing, right, or the seeming success of the thing you said you want, the most important thing at this point now is sustainability. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mhm.
Along with hopeful growth with it, right? And so often we get to that seemingly mountaintop of I've reached the pinnacle, and then all of a sudden something happens and it all falls back down and we lose it. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
we haven't stayed with a level of discipline. What do you think on that?
I think that I love when I hear I didn't come this far just to come this far. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, sure, you had in your mind you had this idea of, okay, I need to get to this place. Sure, cool. Now you've gotten there. That's
Right.
great. But now your mindset shifts to, okay, so next is to also, or next is to now, do this. It's not just you see a lot of like pro athletes that people talk about their production fell off because all they wanted was that big paycheck, and so they got the big paycheck, and then you see the next year, after signing this like mega contract, that their production just like
Mhm,
because it's
mhm.
like, oh, I mean, I got paid, so it is what it is. And for them, I mean, yeah, or for anybody, that money would probably do a lot of good, and you probably could just coast off of it. But for the people that are on the grind, on the upswing right now, it's not enough to just, okay, I had that one goal and I hit that one goal, so now that's it. But you still have all the rest of this space, like
Right,
all the rest of this untouched potential.
right.
And if you only think, okay, yeah, I want to hear, I got here, then if that's your mindset, your life, okay, I'm not going to argue with it. But for me, I hit a goal. I'm like, cool. Now that's just one rung, on the rest of this ladder, and I have
Yeah,
more and more and more that I need to keep climbing, man. And so,
yeah.
yeah, I ain't come this far just to come this far.
I'm trying to look far. I
I
totally
love
agree
it.
with you. I love another great phrase. I totally agree with you because I think that's why being consistent with the little things is what we. If you notice, our last couple, show episodes have been about integrity, right? Your values, right? Then it's been about staying doing the mundane, non-sexy tasks. Now we're talking about the consistency. When you couple all three of those things together on a daily, ad nauseum, consistent habitual basis, it allows for, like you just said, to mitigate when you hit the success rung or the pinnacle, whatever it is you decide is what you want to hit. It mitigates the chances that you are not going to sustain that and keep it pushing. Like you said, because there's still more to, not so much to more to show off or do. Is more that you have talent that you can deliver to your excellence that you created. You know what I'm saying? And the consistency of the discipline of staying with the little things, the mundane tasks, and then your integrity, right? Of staying true to, like you always say, is I said I would. Like I just know I'm the only one that can do it, right?
Yeah,
Not for ego purposes, not for ostentatious, representation of what you have obtained, but for what we said, the integrity portion, the ability to, again, in your case, for those of us who do have seeds, offspring, kids, to let them see, okay, dad or mom has hit this marker. But I noticed when dad and mom hit this marker, they doubled down on,
yeah,
you know, the things that were of sustenance and of substance. You know what I'm saying? Not the things that the um success material has bought us. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's accolades, if it's praise, right? That's the facade shit, right? That everybody gets caught up in, right? And it has nothing to do with that. The thing that I pride myself on, bro, I'm just being 100. I've always, me, we family been growing up together. You know what I'm saying? Like I've always been built well. You know what I'm saying? I've
yeah,
always had a nice frame, right? But I don't that has never been the motivating factor for me to stay with, my discipline of staying with the workouts, because I understand, first off, that's been blessed to me. I had nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? My
mhm,
genetic makeup, how my structure is, how it fits well with that's just, that has, whatever you believe in, that created that for me. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
What's the important thing is that every time I've struggled majorly in life, from being homeless twice, from losing a love that I thought I was going to have for the rest of my life. She walked away from, being a father that's, has a tumultuous relationship with his daughter. Even though we love each other, it's still not, ideal. You know what I'm saying? Textbook, and we it's so. But the thing I can always count on is my ability to be clear minded physically and emotionally and mentally, to be able to grow through these seemingly devastating moments in life, and always been able to build on it, what I'm hoping to be the right way. Am I perfect? No, by no means. But you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that. So I say, because I know a lot of times people say, well, Mark, well, you look great, so you should be able to do this, and you should do this. And, it's never been about the look, right? It's always been about the day to day, because the look can go away in a car accident. The look can go away. You know what I'm saying? I can have a brain aneurysm, and or that I don't know about. You know what I'm saying? Like it could all go like that. That's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
that's not the thing that keeps me waking up in the morning to exercise or going for my runs. It's the substance, you know what I'm saying? Not the facade shit. When I make good, as I've made good money and as I'm making good money, it's not me saying that, yeah, I'm here in Thailand, as to show off. Again, you would never know unless you talk to me. I'm not posting, the excursions I do, or what I'm saying, or when I was in Spain, the helicopter. I'm not. Did I do those things? Yes, because
Yeah.
I could. You know what I'm saying, and I want to enjoy. I want to see. I want to expose myself, right? And that doesn't mean I shouldn't have the right to do it. But it wasn't for the accolades of doing those things. It was, again, the more important thing of, you have to be able to reward yourself. But at the same token, you have to understand it's bigger than these moments. It's not just about the car you can buy or the money you can get to the family, you know what I'm saying? Or the clothes or the six pack you have. It's about the foundational pieces that allow you to continue to stack on those things and grow those things and then leave something for your kids to be able to see. Would you agree with that or no?
No, no, yeah, for sure. It's having a solid foundation. It allows for a lot of growth and a lot of build, to build upon. So I feel like I don't know what's happening with my voice, man. But yeah, like having a solid foundation is obviously like one of the most important things to me. Is making sure that like it's sturdy. Everything I have is built on a sturdy footing. Because if at any point something can go wrong, and like a backslide is not something that we can afford, at these moments right now. So if it's built on just a shifty little, yeah, well, maybe, one mistake and then it'll send you plummeting right back down to earth, man. So I think having a solid foundation, knowing that you've done those constant tasks, right? These constant things that need to get done. And it just helps in the long run, man. You understand it because you've been on the inside. You've seen the things that needed to get done in order to get to where you are. You understand the intricate workings of this needs to maintain this in order for this to keep working and this portion here. So you know that and you know how it goes when it all comes together. So it's
Right.
very important, very important.
Right. No, I agree with you, brother. And so hopefully, we've kind of sparked some thought for you all, and staying consistent in whatever it is you are saying you want to do. And also, the consistency, more importantly, is when things are not going the way you think they are supposed to go. Sometimes just showing up, even if it's, we always use examples like exercise. If it's just showing up to the gym, you may not feel it that day. You may not feel it that week. That
Yeah.
happens, but show up still. Get out of bed, go. Get on the treadmill, even if you had you're supposed to do upper body day, just go do it. Sometimes going through the motions. It's like being a writer, even though I haven't written my memoir yet, but
Yeah.
you've heard, writers that really write. They tell you all the time they had writer's block. But what they do is they still go to the laptop or to the computer, or back in the day, they still go with the pen and paper, you know what I'm saying, and just sit there.
Sitting there
Right,
with
which
a
I
quill and ink. Mm.
with the candlelight.
407 years ago, our forefathers, in order to create a more perfect union, like, wait,
What
what?
how is your hair right?
This is how you have to write if you have a quill, dude. You don't even write on paper. You win Guardian Leviosa, and it'll just it just appears on paper itself, man. So
Voila,
just
voila.
I don't know, man. I ain't never wrote with a quill, but I just it's just because the quill's all whimsical. It's like a little feather on the end of it, and then he's just writing. Da, 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 da.
Man, for
That's
those who
what I
just listen,
imagine, man.
for those who just listen, I hope you watched the YouTube. This brother going through his whole motion. That is awesome. But you're right, though. It is a unique way in which they had to write. But showing up, though, is my main point. Even when, most importantly, that is consistency, even when you don't feel like doing it, because it's not about the feeling. And sometimes you'll literally, your mind is not working, your body is not working, and that happens a lot. To working in the sense of getting to that goal or that thought completion. but still just show up, put yourself in the environment. So therefore you can at least, because one day it's going to click. At some point it's going to get back on track. So let me just say that, 'cause I know we didn't talk about that part of it, but I want to make sure you understand, because that's what Doc and I are saying we do. We just show up the dishes. He understands, like he said, it's something as small as the dishes. He got the babies. He's trying to, do his SOP. He's trying to get his deck together. He's trying to look at the financials for, trying to see what place he's going to rent for his brewery. And the dog running around, the babies out here, doing what they do, and he got to say, well, let me put myself in the environment because it has to get done.
Yeah.
Something as small as benign as the dishes. But once he accomplishes that, then it's analogous to going back to the SOP. It's analogous to going back to, late night, sitting down at the laptop and looking over the financials, and saying, okay, well, maybe if I pull this out here, if I get this investor here, you know what I'm saying? But being consistent with that, even when he's tired. Because it's a thing too, guys, you got to remember, and I'm going to shut up after this. You got to remember, if you want $1,000,000, because you don't have it yet, when you do get $1,000,000, you won't have $1,000,000 worth of problems. Every
Yeah.
level, new devils, right?
Mm.
So don't sit there and think that just because you think you're struggling right now, that, well, when I get there, well, when you get there, you watch. You're like, damn,
That don't
where
go
is she?
away. They still gonna be there with
Yeah,
their hands
that's
out.
what that's like what Doc was saying about the foundation. We talked about integrity. We talked about doing the mundane things and doing it consistently. You'll be able to now handle these things and won't be so aggressively off-putting that you have this new level of, dynamics you have to address and encounter, right? But if you have the consistency, you'll be able to do so. All right. And that's what we're talking about. And then change your dynamic, put yourself in different things. If you exercise one way for the past 3 months and it's been come easy, change the modality, do something that's going to push you. That's the only way
Mm.
you're going to be able to, again, create your own hell out of paradise. So therefore, when true hell kind of hits you outside of you, you're like, I got this. I ain't
I've
gonna do
been there before. It's
it.
all
Right,
right.
right.
Been
All
there,
right,
done that. Got a T-shirt,
right.
Uh,
I got a t-shirt. Hey, what you
uh,
want to close my with, Doc?
oh man. I will close this out with is a famous writer slash singer slash entrepreneur who said work 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 work. No, I'm kidding. No, I don't know why Rihanna was in my head, but
I want to say she is dope, though. Hey, she is dope.
hey, she is.
Not a bad one to leave off on.
Not bad, not bad at all. No, for her that worked, right? Work, 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 work. That's her. You have to make sure that you guys are taking the moment to take care of yourself, health as well. But be consistent and make sure that we're doing, those little things that sometimes we'll look over and it's like, no, I could do that another time, or just do it. Let's just knock it out now. It's done. You don't have to worry about it. We can move on to the next task, right? And keep building and keep building from there. So keep hitting these goals and keep moving forward on to the next goal. And hopefully that will mitigate any type of backsliding. And we just keep building from there.
All right. All right, y'all. Like, subscribe, comment. We appreciate you. Thank you, Doc, for another great episode. Appreciate you. And we'll be seeing you guys next Wednesday.